If you're part of the 1 to 2% of the population that has an INFJ personality type, you know that you can tolerate a lot of BS. However, your positive personality traits like empathy and deep thinking can sometimes get the best of you. INFJs have their limits just like everyone else, so what sets them off? Welcome back, Psychos. Today we'll be discussing 10 things the INFJ personality types hate. Not sure if you're an INFJ personality type? Check out the video in the description. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, as well as click the notification bell so that you never miss a video. Number 1. Deceit and manipulation. Nobody likes to be used or manipulated, but INFJs especially despise it. This is because INFJ's intuitive nature can trigger strong gut feelings about the people they meet, making it impossible to overlook the negative qualities they feel about someone. When INFJs are caught in a conversation where they or someone else are being lied to or manipulated, this personality type will become overly uncomfortable and maybe even begin to slightly panic, because although they despise deceit, they also try to avoid conflict at all costs, so it leaves them in a limbo of knowing what action is the appropriate one. This personality type prides themselves on being as honest as possible, with a great sense of morals to become a good force in the world. So manipulation is especially irritating for an INFJ because they can't relate to the motive behind it. Number 2. Small talk. Small talk is the foundation of socializing, and without it, many of us wouldn't even know how to begin to socialize. INFJs understand this about small talk, and they know it's an expected gesture when meeting new people, but they really aren't fond of it in any sense. Although INFJs are great at small talk when they want to be, they crave a much deeper conversation, which isn't possible through awkward small talk. INFJs easily see behind the way people present themselves in public because of their introverted intuition and their extroverted feeling functions. This makes small talk seem extremely fake to them, as they can see there's much more going on inside that person than they're portraying. INFJs will patiently wait for others to come around and reveal themselves, but if they're being bombarded by small talk to get in their way, don't expect them to wait long. Number 3. People who take more than they give. INFJs get a rush when pleasing or doing favors for people in their lives. In fact, there are few things in this world that can make an INFJ happier than when they make someone else happy. In many situations, they'll put the needs of others ahead of their own, even if it's a complete stranger. Unfortunately, over-generous people in this world tend to get taken advantage of for their gift. On the bright side, INFJ's intuition doesn't allow them to stay in this type of toxic situation too long. When people don't recognize the sacrifices and efforts that an INFJ puts in, or if they rarely make an effort in return, INFJs can quickly become resentful and frustrated, and may even cut ties with the person altogether. Number 4. Consistent or long-term chaos. INFJs aren't really the overly spontaneous type, and although most do strive to become less structured in their lives, this type of structure and organisation is an INFJ's way of mentally preparing for what's to come. So when a situation or environment is chaotic and unpredictable, this personality type is not having a good time, to say the least. When they're in an environment or close relationship that is proven to be consistently chaotic, INFJs can't help but feel a constant underlying level of stress, even though they may bury it deep down to avoid conflict. INFJs may even feel physically ill during prolonged periods of having stress and conflict within a relationship. Although this personality type doesn't do well with chaos, they tend to take on more than they should because they try to see the good in the situation or the person before making any decision. Unfortunately, this can go on for years. Number 5. Arguing for the sake of arguing. Like we said, INFJs avoid conflict at all costs. They require harmony and flow with another person in order for their relationship to flourish. According to the introverted blog introvertdear.com, INFJs know they need emotional support and a sense of approval from their loved ones to be completely satisfied in a relationship. So when someone tends to frequently shut them down, challenging them unnecessarily, or put words in their mouth, INFJs won't settle. This doesn't necessarily have to be in a romantic relationship for an INFJ to become triggered, because to them, arguing is going in circles in an attempt to avoid the conclusion and continue arguing instead. INFJs rather discuss the matter calmly. Number 6. Prolonged periods of no alone time. The social ability of an INFJ can often have them mistaken for an extroverted character, when really that's far from the truth. INFJs do have a deep interest in people, and they are considered to be introverts and need plenty of alone time to live a satisfied life. And without it, INFJs can become drained and overly stressed. In fact, an INFJ who is held from their alone time for too long can become extremely irritable, impatient, critical, and maybe even a little mean. If the situation prolongs for long enough, the INFJ may even begin to hate the person they've become under the constant pressure. So in other words, boundaries are an INFJ's best friend. Number 7. Being challenged to compromise their values. INFJs view and understand the world in a very unique way. They can understand that, to some degree, everything is connected to everything else, meaning every action creates a ripple effect into the world and even into multiple generations to come. And if so, INFJs have morals based on this very understanding and don't ever shy away from them when making moves in the world. They have a strong sense of how the world should be, especially when it comes to society and humanity. If INFJs are challenged or forced to compromise these morals and values for the sake of a job or a relationship, they will hate it, and it probably won't last long. Number 8. Harsh or unnecessary criticisms. Let's be honest, nobody really likes being criticized. Although we know sometimes it's for our best. In the moment, you can't help but feel like you didn't do it right. Criticism can hit an INFJ extra hard, especially if the criticism has no constructive value that the INFJ can learn from. Words are important to INFJs, and by using their morals, they can see the ripple effect that the simple remarks can have on a person. Positive, encouraging words can calm and uplift their spirits, while negative, critical words can immediately bring them down and leave them ruminating for days. For an INFJ, it's all in how the feedback is delivered, so if someone criticizes in a harsh or accusing way, you can be sure that the INFJ is probably rattled. Number 9. Ulterior motives and ingenuine kindness. INFJs hate ingenuity. I mean, I'm sure we all do it to a certain extent, but INFJs can pick up on ingenuine kindness so accurately that they seem to be triggered by it more than average. Even something as simple as paying someone an ingenuine compliment just to get on their good side can cause an INFJ to become slightly distressed. The reason ingenuine kindness is so irritating for an INFJ is similar to their dislike of small talk. They can see right past the chitter-chatter. They can even often see the ulterior motive behind the ingenuine kindness. And number 10. Cruelty in any form. Most, if not all, INFJs are considered to be highly sensitive people, or HSPs for short. This means their brains are actually wired overly sensitive to the stimuli in their environments. In other words, they feel everything emotionally more intensely than average. Therefore, many INFJs tend to hate anything that has to do with cruelty or violence in any form. From animal neglect to war and crimes. Sure, most of the population could agree that they dislike these things, but for an INFJ it's particularly bothersome because how deeply they feel for whoever's involved. Alright psychos, that's it for today. Tell us in the comments below if you relate to these INFJ dislikes. Don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more psycho videos.